All right, everybody, welcome back to another deep dive with me. And
It's great to be back.
yeah, it is always good to be back. And we like to pick a piece of content and just go deep on it, really figure out what makes it tick.
Exactly. Sometimes the most seemingly small things can reveal really big, social trends.
Oh, absolutely, and that's what we're hoping to do today. So the content that we have today is this pretty opinionated social media post.
Yes, definitely someone who's not afraid to share their thoughts.
Yeah, no kidding. So it's a reaction to this clash at a rainbow parade, which is something we're seeing more and more these days.
Yeah, it seems like these kind of events are becoming flashpoints for these, larger societal debates.
Right, and this post is interesting because it throws around a lot of loaded language. It's not just a mutual observation.
Yeah, it definitely has an agenda.
For sure. So we see terms like woke agenda and debauchery, even a make NZ great again thrown in there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, pretty intense stuff. So we're going to try to unpack all of this, figure out what this person is trying to say, and what it tells us about the bigger picture.
Yeah, and remember, we're not endorsing any of these views, but we're trying to understand them.
Absolutely. So first off, let's just lay out some of the groups that are mentioned in this post.
Sure.
Right off the bat, we see Destiny Church.
Ah, yes. They've been in the news quite a bit lately, haven't they?
They have. They've been pretty vocal on these kinds of issues.
Yeah, and known for their, let's say, traditional views on gender and sexuality.
Right. And then there's this mention of ManUp Men, which I'm not as familiar with.
Yeah, they're a relatively new group, but gaining traction online, especially among certain demographics.
And what are their views?
Well, they kind of promote this idea of traditional masculinity, a pushback against what they see as the feminization of men.
Interesting. And then the post also hints at Gen Z getting involved, which adds a whole other layer.
Yeah, because it suggests that these ideas aren't limited to older generations.
Right. It could be a sign that these views are spreading among younger people.
And that's something to pay attention to, for sure.
Okay, so we've got these groups, and then there's this whole accusation against the NZ police.
Yes, this stood out to me as well.
They're saying that the police were actually favoring the Rainbow Parade attendees, not just disagreeing with their message, but accusing them of bias in their actions.
Exactly. And that's a serious claim because it undermines trust in a key institution.
Right. If people start believing that the police are taking sides, then it erodes public confidence.
Absolutely. And it feeds into this broader narrative of, the system being rigged.
Yeah, like the deep state kind of stuff.
Right, exactly. And that's something we see a lot of in online spaces.
Okay, so let's break down some of the specific language that's used in this post. You mentioned debauchery earlier.
Oh, yeah, that's a really loaded term.
It is. It's not just disagreeing with someone's views. It's making a moral judgment about their behavior.
Exactly. And it's often used to demonize and delegitimize certain groups.
Right? So in this case, it's implying that the Rainbow Parade is somehow immoral or corrupt.
Precisely. And it ties into this idea of protecting traditional values, that society is going down the wrong path.
And then there's the phrase, the people's movement.
Ah, yes, a classic way to claim legitimacy and broad support.
Like they're speaking for the silent majority.
Exactly. It creates this use versus them dynamic, which can be very powerful.
And of course, we can't forget the Make NZ Great Again.
Oh, yeah, that's a direct link to Trumpism and that whole ideology.
It is. It's interesting how that phrase has become so globalized.
Yeah, it taps into this sense of nostalgia and anxiety, things were better in the past and we need to return to that.
And it's often associated with, nationalism and populism.
For sure. So it's a way of signaling your alignment with a certain set of political beliefs.
Okay. And then finally, the post ends with this call to action.
Yeah, follow me to see what we have planned next.
Which suggests that this isn't just online venting.
Right. It implies organization and potential for real-world action.
And that's where things get really interesting, right?
Exactly. How does this kind of online rhetoric translate into offline behavior?
And what are the implications for society as a whole?
Big questions, but important ones to consider.
Absolutely. So we've covered a lot of ground here, but it's just a glimpse into this complex and evolving landscape.
Exactly. And it's important to remember that this is just one perspective.
Right. There are many other voices and viewpoints out there.
And it's up to each of us to engage with these ideas critically and thoughtfully.
So what do you think about all of this? Have you encountered this kind of language online?
I'm sure many of our listeners have.
Yeah. And how did it make you feel? Did it resonate with you? Did it make you angry?
It's important to be aware of these sentiments, even if we disagree with them.
Absolutely. Because they're out there and they're shaping the world around us.
So we need to understand them in order to engage with them effectively.
Exactly. So that's our deep dive for today. But the conversation doesn't end here.
No, it's just the beginning.
So keep thinking, keep exploring, and keep challenging your own assumptions.
Because that's how we make progress.
And that's how we build a better future for everyone.
Thanks for joining us.
We'll see you next time.
Take care. Bye.
SPII.